my sneakers tonight.
You wear sneakers, huh?
That's right. Can't stop, won't stop. So some of you have heard this before, but there's people in the room that probably have not. And what I'll start with is that I was able to walk. I was very, very debilitated though a year ago. Actually, for 17 years ago, I was diagnosed with severe Crohn's disease. Came out of nowhere. They misdiagnosed me for several years before that, and I had some pretty serious damage done to my body. In and out of hospitals, medications, too long to even list, but they were toxic. Humira injections every week instead of every other week. Prednisone, more than I could even imagine somebody should take in their lifetime. Vicodin to me was like M&Ms to another person. You name it, I had it. I think back about those days because where I am today, I feel like I'm a completely different person in the sense that I'm not dealing with those issues. But when you have autoimmune disease, which is what Crohn's disease is, it usually can trigger off other ailments, which for me was rheumatoid arthritis, which then led to fibromyalgia. And a lot of the drugs that you need to take are so toxic that sometimes I wonder if the drugs I had to take for Crohn's are what triggered the rheumatoid and what triggered the fibro, because every time you took a drug, you need another drug to deal with the interactions that you're on. So I lost my hair, or most of it. I was on a drug called 6-MP, which was like what they give to people that need chemo. And I suffered all of the effects from that. And there are people in this room that knew me through this time of my life. So they can actually vouch for what I was like. I was introverted, if you can believe that. Nope. Just a little bit. Now, I was afraid to leave my home. And if I did leave my house, I had to know every single detail of the place I was going to. I became a germaphobe. I was petrified to be out where people were because I was so deathly afraid of getting sick because it could have killed me. I wasn't the person that I know I was put on this earth to be. I have a wonderful husband who also was dealing with Crohn's disease. He's been doing great. And I have a phenomenal son who's also a product of the product. But knowing what I put them through during my ailments was also difficult to take. So let's fast forward to a meeting that I did not want to go to. I did talk to Jimmy on the phone, told me that I should pay Logan the respect and come hear what he had to say. And I basically said I was done being the vulnerable person who was always going to be told, this is it, this is going to do it for you. But an hour before, my husband said, you better go because you're pacing, and if you don't go, you're going to regret it and want to know what it was about, so I did. And that was the night that changed my life, October 21st, 2013. It was the first night that I felt hope because I heard the term customized. And I'd never heard that before. And I even gave Logan a hard time after because I still couldn't comprehend what it was about. But to hear that there was going to be a product that was going to be made just for me, and I used to refer to myself as a misfit. So I figured if they could take something and make it just for me, maybe this is something that can work. Because I've tried products. I've spent more money than I can, probably, that I even made on products because everybody told me this was the best. And they were all with other companies, and nothing helped me. So I thought this was going to be the same thing until I heard customized. So I was ready to go. I was on board head first. I was ready to go. And then I find out we won't have product until January of 2014. I was devastated, but it gave me time to learn about the products, learn about the people that we were involved with, meet them, get to know Paul Sullivan, who's our formulator, that created this absolutely incredible product that I believe saved my life. And January, when that product came on the shelf, I was still taking all my medications. I told my doctors what I was doing. I had their full support, even though they had never heard about what it was. They felt that from what I'd given them, it wasn't going to hurt me. May 31st of 2014, I was medication free. I still have it with me. I used to have a handicap license because I was so sick that I couldn't walk. There were times when my husband, at night, I couldn't even get up to go to bed. And getting dressed was so mortifying for me because he had to help me and he never complained once. my child was denied so many things that I couldn't do with him because I didn't have the strength or the ability to do it. But not now. We have fun, right, baby? I worked for Prudential Financial for 25 years. While I was with that company, I've experienced a lot. But I never had that family where upper management knew who I was. I probably could fall in front of our CEO, CFO, and they would probably step over me and trip. They probably wouldn't even know who I was, but not in IDLife. Everybody knows who everybody is because they legitimately want to know and care about you. June 13th of 2014 was my last day with Prudential. I was downsized. They told me in May and said I had to work 60 days. After 60 days, on my last day, which was June 13th, I didn't get a phone call. I didn't get an instant message. I didn't get an email. I got nothing. Let me tell you something. I was making a really good salary when I was with Prudential. And no, I'm not making that salary with IDLife yet. But I was let go and officially retired, because I started when I was 12, that 1 year with IDLife, I have almost surpassed half of what my salary was in 25 years with Prudential Financial. It's a great opportunity. It's brought me more joy in knowing the people that I'm involved with will become friends, will become family. It's so much more than a business. We have something here that the world needs to know about. Everybody here knows somebody that may be suffering unnecessarily. We can't make medical claims, and I won't stand up here and make one, but this is my story, and I would love for other people to have their stories too.
Was one of the biggest skeptics. Research, this and that. So I'm not going to take a lot of your time. When you emailed me that testimonial, it was amazing. It's incredible. So
I started in October. My wife has a science background, so I asked her to just study every one of the ingredients before I got involved. She did it. She said, go ahead. I started on it, and after 9 days of being on vitamins, I'm an insulin diabetic since 2005. And every morning I'd wake up 150, 170, my glucose, depending on what I ate or drank the night before. Just one morning I got up and it was 100. And I just considered it a freak scenario. After the third or fourth day, and I'm telling you, honestly, I never associated with the vitamins. I just thought I was giving my body some nutritional things that I was lacking. After the fourth day in a row, in the morning of having 101, it became very conclusive to me that it was the only factor was the vitamins. After 14 days, I lost 15 pounds, and please don't look at me because I put those 14 back. Because of the vitamins. I'm supposed to be a retired businessman. I turned 68 this year, and I'm working more than I ever did before. So through the work and the stress and everything, I honestly, I'm eating and drinking too much. So I'm negating the positive things that IDLife has given me. And hopefully I'll get back on in a very short time. I couldn't lift a coffee cup in my left arm. I had tendonitis for probably a solid year where it was debilitating. After 14 days, that went away altogether, and to this day it's gone. And I'm basically fully functional. I have a rescue pup that's 73 pounds that drags me all over the universe, and it doesn't interfere with that process. I had a number of other things that later on through the process of months, I have a doctor that's a holistic doctor, that's my associate. She has 3,000 patients in Rochelle Park, and she was taking my blood pressure, and I had a history of high blood pressure. I was on blood pressure medication for 15 years, and she said, Donald, maybe you should cut it in half, because my blood pressure used to be 150, 160 over 90 or 95, and all of a sudden it was 105 over 80 or 90. It was a dramatic change. Again, I didn't associate it with vitamins, but after a couple of months, I went back in, and again, it was low. So she took me off after 15 years of being on blood pressure. medication. I came off it altogether.
Amen.
I associate
Awesome.
it to the spirulina concept. If you have time, read into that ingredient. It's a 2,000-year-old algae.
Yep.
But again, you know, we talk about the company's origin. I mean, these people really did their homework and their research. You know, and if you told me that Paul Sullivan started this 2 years ago, I probably wouldn't be on the vitamins now. Or if you told me about his child and so on and so forth. I became a believer through the ingredients and then the results, which were honestly surprising. And like Jim said, I was a skeptic. But after a while, you just can't reverse some of the things that it's doing. The last thing I'll tell you is that I do have arthritis development. I was supposed to go for surgery in my right foot because I have arthritis going on the top of my foot, and it's offsetting the toes. Some of you know what that's all about. And I've canceled the surgery because I walk and I run as if I And for all the skeptics in the room that have not tried it or have not researched, take the time to research it. Man, we spend a lifetime on the internet. I mean, just start researching it. Research the ingredients most of all. You know, when you start looking at the natural ingredients and the spirulina and the alpha-lipoic acids, I mean, there's so many things in there that are light years ahead of what everybody else is doing right now. So I encourage everybody to do it, and good luck with it. And anybody has any questions?
Nice.
Yeah.